come. Magic carpet styling, move like magic excellence. Proof you need reminding. Getting round and losing sharp. Uma will cheat back again. You will never end the rain. We keep multiplying. Running through the evidence. There's no denying.
Family, and welcome to Get the Tea on Me Royalty. Anytime you're sitting in front of your computers, make sure you have either some black obsidian. Make sure you have some of that. Make sure you have an amethyst. I have two big amethysts like this. Normally, when I'm in front of my computer, I set it on my lap so that I'm not being attacked. Normally, I would have this in my bra when I'm in front of the computer. Though when I'm recording, I don't want an odd lump sticking out my chest. So just to get back to this video, I know there's a lot of us healing out there, whether it's from family trauma, whether it's from childhood abuse, whether it's from sexual abuse. I mean, we all have some type of cross that we're bearing. I was realizing as I'm healing my inner child, because I went through a lot of early childhood trauma as well, I'm being called to know that I am a chosen one. And when chosen ones are born, they're born with a certain light. Most of the other spirits, whether they're good or bad, can see that light. So I don't want to be disrespectful because everybody has their healing journey, and I'm not trying to rush anybody along the way on theirs, though my healing journey is very important to me. And so I have to say these things. The other day, I'm sitting and I'm communicating with my inner child because I had to do a lot to heal her from the early childhood trauma, from just, everything she had been through. And I mean, I'm doing a thorough job of healing this girl. Okay. And I want to show you guys a picture of me as a little girl, because I think that will help you to connect with what I'm about to say here. And this picture was a picture that I used to look at when I was younger, and I used to hate this picture. I hated it for some reason. And now I know why I hated it. Because at the time of this picture, I was being molested. I was watching my family be abused. I was enduring a lot of trauma. And when I was born, there was a light inside of me, a very bright light. Now, I came here and I chose a purpose to, heal the bloodline and all of that. Though, with that job came my inner child being basically smashed, pushed aside, abused, and all of that. Because you can't heal what is in your bloodline. You can't heal the toxicity. You can't heal the toxicity in your bloodline unless you go through the same thing that your bloodline went through. So if you're going to heal your bloodline, you're going to have to go through what those people in the bloodline went through, So if they were alcoholics, drug addicts, if they were going in and out of jail, whatever it was they were doing, the chosen one, the one sent to heal the bloodline, she'll have to go through those things as well. But I used to hate this picture because, now I love it, but I used to hate this picture because it was taken at a time that I was going through a lot. And my family was going through a lot. And there was a light that shined within me. When I was born, there was a light that shined within me. And if you could look at my eyes, even though I was going through all of that, you can see the light still in my eyes. I'm planet Venus, so I'm the brightest star in the sky. Okay. But the light never went out. She looks like she's ready to play. She looks like she's ready to think of something to do. It's like, I don't see like a broken little girl, because I was built for this. I came here for this. You can still see the light in my eye. No matter what I went through, you can still see the light in my eye. You can still see my soul. A bright soul. And so, and by the way, my mom did a good job combing my hair that day. Actually, it was curled and it was hanging. And because our hair is natural, by the time I was done playing on recess, that press and curl, it had curled right on up. The shrinkage was real, but yes, my mama did a good job when she did my hair that day. I think I was in the 3rd grade on this picture, and I played really hard. I was the best tetherball player. Little brown skin, pretty little girl. I love looking at this picture now. When I speak to my inner child, she now speaks back to me, and she doesn't speak from a place of trauma. She speaks from a place of healing. I was having a little conversation with my inner child, and what she told me is the beautiful person that I was born and designed and created to be began to feel like an imposter as the abuse, the emotional, mental, and physical abuse, but the betrayal, the molestation, and all of the other toxicity began to enter my life. So what she's basically was telling me that there's a bright light that's inside of her that was natural. It was natural for her to shine. It was natural for her to be, an intellect and to, want to just, be who I am now, a creator, writing multiple books and open multiple businesses and, just a diamond, but she was telling me that there was the beautiful person that I was born, designed, and created to be began to feel like an imposter as the abuse, betrayal, and the other, things took over. She said my laughter became a stranger in the mirror. And when she said that, it really clicked for me because I remember as I was growing that I would get like this feeling of excitement, you know, and I would be so happy and just it's almost like I could fly, and then it would be an energy that would make me feel like, but that's not really who you are. You're this. I would identify myself with the abuse. I wouldn't identify myself with what I was feeling inside. I would identify myself with the abuse that took place because when it was the sexual abuse, I was told not to tell. And so and it was something that was ongoing, and it was with a female. And so I felt shame because of that, but I was told not to tell, and I knew it was wrong. I knew it wasn't right. I knew something was wrong. That's what I did know. And so as I'm growing, I don't know how to look at myself because I feel like an embarrassment. As a child, I never respected my voice. I would, as I was saying, I would have a feeling of happiness and joy and all of these things. And something would pop up inside of me and say, that's not who you are. And I would know that I'm magic. I would know that I am the greatest thing alive. In my mind, I knew that I was created divine. Though something kept, though the interactions that I had with my abusers was saying something other than that. And that traveled into my adulthood, my teenage years and my adulthood. I always felt like an imposter. And I was so thankful to my inner child. I was so thankful to her for revealing that to me because it made it clear on why sometimes I'm being this diamond that I am, but then something inside of me is saying, is trying to convince me that I'm something else. So I wanted to get on here because I don't know, and I hope I'm not triggering anybody with the abuse and the topic of, sexual molestation and all of that. When my inner child told me that that every time she would feel the light that was naturally inside of her, something would come to her and tell her that she would feel like an imposter. She would feel like that's not who she really is because of that darkness, the darkness that was in the home as she was growing. And so, and I remember I used to lie to my friends and I would tell them that I told them that I used to tell people that my dad was a doctor and my mom was a nurse. I changed it up as the years went on because that's what us abused children do. We will lie our asses off because the last thing we want to tell Sally Mae and Billy Sue is that we, have all this darkness. And so, as a child, I became I won't say a liar, but I used to create my world. if people asked me things, they would never get the truth, because the truth was too painful. It was too much for a young girl, in the second, third grade, where I was at right here. What's going on in her? I mean, how am I supposed to speak on what's going on with me? I'm too young. And so of course I'm going to tell a fairy tale when someone asks me about my life, because I remember a friend of mine, her name was Annette. She asked me some questions about something, and I swear I lied to her, and she always wanted to come to my house because she just thought it was so fabulous the way I explained it. And it's so cute now because I had an imagination. That was that light, and that's that creativity. I've published 9 books on Amazon, and my siblings used to always tell me that. My little sister, she told me I used to always tell them stories about people, and I would make them up. Whether it was about the fat lady, whether it was about the dog down the road. I kept them entertained because I was creative like that. That was a natural gift for me, was to create. And that's no surprise I have 9 books on Amazon, and I'm a fashion designer, and I've opened multiple businesses all over Sacramento and in the Bay Area, because that is naturally who I am. Though my inner child was telling me the problem is every time your light starts to shine, because as a child you were being abused. That is what you identified yourself with. You identified yourself as being an abused and broken person. So anytime that light was shining, or you would feel that energy of who you really were as a child, something would come into your psyche and tell you that no, that's not really you. I remember being a child and smiling really big, and then I would feel like a awkwardness, like I shouldn't be smiling that big. Like I don't even understand it. I do understand it. It's basically something that happens when we're abused. We identify with our abuse. We identify with the things that happen to us. We feel like we're not important. We sometimes we feel like we don't even deserve to be happy. Okay, so my mother had all of us, with her at all times, no matter what happened. So, I'm not saying anything bad about her. My mother is a diamond, and I will chop you in the throat if you say anything bad about my mama. You will be throat chopped and dismissed. Okay. And she was dealing with somebody who was a narcissist. And my father was just that. He was a narcissist, and he was abusive. Just to move forward, this little girl has found peace. Okay. She has found so much peace, and she is so strong right now, where she was weak in certain areas before. And it's because we've done the work to heal ourselves. It's because we've done the work to heal ourselves. I went through the dark night of the souls. I went through the whole transition from Islam to African spirituality, because I was a diehard Muslim at first, and now I'm into African spirituality. I do I do magic all day. Everything I do is intentional. I'm putting intention into it. I have candles burning all around my home right now. I work with the planets, all of that. Okay. So I'm not nowhere near being a Muslim right now. Though when I met my husband, he was here to, because we came together, me and my husband, we came together to heal our bloodlines and to heal together. The first book that I wrote was called Broken Roots, which was about the trauma that happened in my childhood. He read that book, and he knew what he was supposed to be doing, but he couldn't. It was too hard for him. And so he ended up passing on with some of that pain. He did a lot of healing because of me, though. I said all this to say, you guys, it's really important to heal yourself. When my inner child told me that she uh, felt that she was living as an imposter her whole childhood, and that is why she could never ignite that magic, because in children there's a magic that's ignited, and that makes you feel like you can do anything. And for some reason, everything she thought about herself, it was almost as if she thought she couldn't do nothing. that she was some type of embarrassment, or that she was some type of, I don't know. And then I had an older sibling that used to beat me down, like not physically, but emotionally, if I ever, was doing a fancy, because I don't want to start getting too much into, just like I said, talking about other people, though. one of the people that one of the people that used to molest me and have sexual interactions with me as a young girl, if I was doing something like dancing or jumping in the air, doing the splits, doing things she couldn't do, she would always look at me like, "You think you all that," kind of thing. And I remember her actually telling me one day, I was laughing about something because I thought our father was coming. My mother and my father had separated, and my father was coming to visit us. And I was so happy, and I was jumping around as happy as I was. And my older sister said, "Sit down." It was almost like every time I felt a happy feeling, she would cut it short. She would cut it short. Would never let my light shine. Anytime I had a moment of being on stage, she would try to ruin it. Or she would if I and it's so funny because I have a video of it happen. I have a whole video of it happening. We're at my mom's book signing, and you know how everyone's getting up to say what it is that they appreciate about my mother. And when I stand up to speak, immediately she turns to the person beside her and starts talking to them so that other people are talking while I'm talking, like, we ain't paying no attention to you. And when I saw that, I'm healed now. So I'm just like, continue talking to my mom, finish my little speech. And the look on her face was like, I didn't affect her. And that's been a look on her face for a long time now because, yes, you did used to traumatize me as a child. And now you have no power over me. These sexual encounters as a child, the people that I had these sexual encounters with as a child, I called them not even 2 weeks ago because healing my inner child is important. So I needed apologies, even if you apologizing from that inner child space or from the place where you were at as a child. What happened with me was wrong, and I wasn't demanding an apology because spirit said don't go into making these phone calls and having expectations. Though the both of the people apologized to me. Both of the people apologized to me and let me know that it was a lot of stuff they didn't remember. But the one person that used to always, that I was speaking on, that always used to try to stop my light or stop my shine or shut me down, she tried to deflect it and say that it was something that I did to her. And she's older than me, but she tried to say I tried to do it to her. When she tried to deflect and say that it was me, that was spirit telling me leave her alone. And my grandmother told me to tell her that it's happening. She's about to shine whether you like it or not. It's happening. I said, oh, actually I texted her and I said, Granny wanted me to tell you, and my granny's deceased. My granny's deceased, but I communicate with all the ancestors. They love me. They love me. And because I am the chosen one, I'm healing the bloodline. They up there cheering, rooting, screaming, hollering, sending me songs, sending me whatever I need, whatever I require. They're there for me, and they will knock anybody's face in the dirt that tries to mess with me. My ancestors are very ancient. They are not the modern day ancestors. Okay, they will swipe you and wipe you off this planet about messing with me. The first thing, and I know I probably got a little emotional because there is a little anger behind that. How dare you deflect and try to still make me feel bad when I'm trying to heal? You gonna tell me that was me? And because I was so clear, because the first time I ever seen any type of sexual interaction, it was between her and someone else that was in the household. And I walked in and wanted to see what they were doing. And then it started trickling down to me. Okay, so she didn't know I remembered all of that. She didn't know I remembered everything, but the ancestors made me remember every licking chicken wing. Okay, because when I walk into this new beginning after my husband passing, they want me completely healed. They want me attracting from a healed space, not a broken space. When you're attracting from a broken space, you're gonna find broken people. But when you're attracting from a healed space, you're only going to attract healed people to you. That's why me and my husband came together, because there was a lot of inner child healing we hadn't done. So we bonded in that area. It's almost like trauma bonding, unknowingly. So, but at the end of it all, you guys, even with that, I don't suggest anybody start calling people that molested them and all of that, because it could turn out different. I built my strength up for that. And when the person tried to deflect and throw it on me, like, oh girl, you gonna stay in the trash. You gonna never be nothing. And it was almost with that type of energy. like, yeah, go ahead and sit with that. But I remembered everything. And the only thing I kept thinking is, wow, she is that unhealed that she would actually try to throw that to me and say she has no recollection of things. But you remembered. It's funny the things she remembered and the things she didn't remember. But at the end of the day, I'm done with that. I digress. This video is basically to talk about how the healing process is very important. No matter what you've been through in your life, you do not want to be walking around as an imposter, not really feeling who you are because of the weight that has been stacked on top of you. It's kind of like, you know how you have the scratcher tickets and you never know what's underneath. It could be $1 billion, it could be a brand new anything. It could be the keys to heaven. Start chipping off that trauma and see what's underneath. I bet you're going to find a diamond. And I'm so happy that I'm in this space right now and that my inner child can speak to me in a way that we have conversations. And things that I do now, she be like, I don't do that. I don't want to do that. That's something the traumatized me did. She corrects me. She's like, no, that's a habit for you because I was feeding that to you because I needed that. I no longer need that because you've healed me. Now all I need is for us to grow and to be creative. I mean, I'm creating stuff every day, YouTube videos. I have 4 channels. I'm writing another book, a couple of them that are about to be published. I'm always up to something. But now, Spirit is telling me to be still and allow her to do the rest. So I'm going to end this video because it's already 36 minutes long. Baby, I don't know who's going to look at this. They're going to look at the time and be like, oh, hell no. But at the end of the day, you guys, I hope that I was able to reach somebody. Someone was able to resonate with the things that are coming out of my mouth. This is not a game. We are a people that come from trauma, whether it was through the slave days or where we are a people that were running dynasties, kings and queens, and there was a fall. And we're rising currently. We're on the rise. So please, everybody, let's rise together. But you first have to start with the healing. Because when you're not healed, you have all kind of blockages. And you're wondering why my money's not coming in. Why is all my relationships failing? Why is it that I can't even just feel the things that I know I should be feeling? Anxiety coming out of nowhere. One minute you happy, the next minute you sad. Like, baby, kill it. Kill it. I still have little roller coaster rides I go on emotionally because it's a process. Though at the same time, get started on the healing journey so that you won't leave here and pass that trauma to your grandchildren and their children. Because they're going to have to be a chosen one, and you might be that chosen one. Everybody's trauma is a sensitive subject. So I don't want to trigger anybody. I don't want to be, you need to hurry up and heal. So, baby, you're not going nowhere if you don't. You want to have a good relationship with your inner child. But, do not feel like an imposter in your life. You are the star of your show. You are the star on the stage. What did I say in my other video? Do not let anyone get on your timeline and kick you off and make you feel unworthy. If that has been happening to you since you were a child, people making you feel unworthy, it'll be really easy for other people to come along and make you feel that exact same thing. Because that's what early childhood trauma does. Okay? And so I basically want to say that and just make sure that I am clear when I say that the healing is an ongoing process. It's not something that happens overnight. But at the end of the day, no matter what they say, in each and every single way, I am royalty. You are royalty. We are royalty, family, and I shall see you in a minute. Heal yourself. You're worth it. Ashe.
Oh, Brocadabra, here I come. Magical bitch styling. Move like magic excellence. Proof unique reminding. Getting round and losing shop. My word, she back again. You will never end the rain. We keep multiplying. Running through the evidence. There's no denying.